In your reading notes today, we're going to turn to page 8. So we are working on informational text skills, looking at inferring and generalizing. So inferring and generalizing when we're in an informational text as compared to a fiction or literature text. So looking at the skills here, we need to be able to paraphrase information in the text to explain explicit meaning of the text and draw inferences. So you need to be able to put it in your own words and then be able to explain. Explicit means exactly what it says in the text, and then be able to draw inferences, be able to figure out things that aren't there but you should be able to figure out based on what is there. Then use information in the text to draw generalizations. So a generalization is something that is usually true, not 100% all the time, but usually true. That's what a generalization is. And then the third thing is to quote accurately from the text to support explanations, inferences, and generalizations. So when you're doing these inferences and generalizations, you need to be able to quote from the text to support it. So let's look at this brief and then vocabulary quotation, a group of words taken from the text and reused word for word by someone other than the original author or speaker. So we're looking at layers of the earth. The earth is made of many layers. Scientists have been studying the layers of the earth for hundreds of years. There is a solid crust on the outside that we live on. Scientists have been able to study the crust more than any other layer. The thinnest parts of the crust are under the ocean. The crust is thinner than any other layer of the earth. The crust is 3 to 25 miles thick. So if we wanted to paraphrase what's here about the crust in our own words, we could put it over here. So when I put it into my own words, this whole paragraph, I could say the earth's crust is the thinnest and most studied layer of the earth. So I'm taking that whole paragraph and just putting it into one sentence, not taking the words directly, but taking the important part from the paragraph. Okay, next paragraph. Under that solid crust, before you get down to the mantle, is the asthenosphere. The asthenosphere is the upper part of the mantle that flows, it moves the plates of the earth. The mantle is 1,800 miles thick, making it the thickest layer. The mantle is solid, but because of the high temperatures, there is still slight movement over time. So if we wanted to have a quotation of the text to explain, infer, or generalize, I could do that right over here. So according to the article, transition phrase, the asthenosphere is the upper part of the mantle that allows the continents to move. So this part that's right in here, that's in the quotation marks, I'm even going to just lightly highlight it. That's the part that I got right out of the text. So that is my quotation of the text, and then I have some of my own words to explain what it was saying here. Then we have the final one, generalize, making a statement that is usually true based on the text. So let's read that bottom paragraph. In the center of the earth is the core. The core is dense and metallic. The core is split into solid inner core and a liquid outer core. The outer core is 1,400 miles thick and made of liquid iron and nickel. The inner core is at the highest level of pressure. While it is hot enough, the metals are forced to vibrate in place like a solid. The inner core is 800 miles thick. So if I want to make a generalization, I could do that. And a generalization would be all the inner layers of the earth are thicker than the crust, and this earth would be capitalized. All the inner layers of the earth are thicker than the crust, because I could look at all of the how many miles thick everything else is compared to the 3 to 25 miles of the crust. So a generalization is something that's usually true, is that right there. I'm not saying specifically how much thicker they are, but just that they're all thicker than the crust is. Okay, so those are the 3 skills that we're going to work on with inferring and generalizing. Being able to paraphrase in our own words, using the text to infer, generalize, and making a generalized statement that is usually true.